Good morning and a very warm welcome. It's the morning after a big terrorist attack in the national capital. 9 people are confirmed dead. There's a huge amount of damage, many burning questions. NDTV's Vishnu Shom is at the blast site early this morning to take forward NDTV's coverage.
Good morning. Our entire team is going to be getting you every single detail of the investigation, of the planning, the manner in which this attack was carried out, and yes, officially it is being investigated as a terror attack. Exactly 12 hours since that blast rocked Red Fort, the area close to Red Fort in Delhi. Let's get you started first with the headlines. 9 killed in a blast near Red Fort in the national capital. Delhi police chief says slow-moving car burst into flames at a traffic signal. Cops add UAPA sections and probe it as a terror incident.
In the first arrest so far, the Jammu and Kashmir police have detained and questioned a man named Tariq in Pulwama in South Kashmir, the person who sold the Hyundai i20 involved in the blast to a man named Umar. Umar is an accomplice of Adil and Muzammil, who were arrested in a separate Faridabad explosives case that we now know is directly linked to the blast in Delhi.
NDTV accesses the image of the I-20 car that was used for the blast just before the attack took place. Car was parked in a parking lot near Red Fort for nearly 3 hours yesterday afternoon before the blast took place close to 7 p.m.
It's the early news break. The Delhi police have detained 2 suspects in the Delhi blast case, traced the ownership of the car linked to the blast. It's the Jammu and Kashmir police and the Delhi police working in tandem to trace this link.
It's the story that broke first on NDTV 24/7. Direct links are now emerging to the Jaish-e-Mohammed module that was busted yesterday in Faridabad. Remember, the details of that we had got to you first on the channel, and now this particular attack outside the Red Fort is being probed as a terror attack. This car that was used for the attack belongs to a Dr. Umar from Pulwama, who's an aide of the 2 men who were arrested yesterday, Dr. Muzammil, who works at the Al-Falah Hospital in Faridabad, and Dr. Adil Radar, who was arrested. He of course worked at GMC Anantnag earlier, and a rifle was discovered from his locker in GMC Anantnag. So all of these threads now coming together, but the big news break right now on NDTV is that there are linkages which are being established. A huge terror bust yesterday, and now the Red Fort attack being directly linked to that.
Aditya Rajkal also joining our coverage this morning. Vishnu, this is a big development in the investigation just a few hours after the attack yesterday. What seemed to be at first a kind of tenuous link that was being investigated has very rapidly emerged to be a pretty solid relationship between what happened in Delhi, what happened in Faridabad, and the detentions that have just taken place in Jammu and Kashmir. The Faridabad module, which was busted, may have been directly linked to what's happening. What are you hearing, Vishnu?
You're absolutely right, Shiv, and here's what it is. I'm going to spell it out. Firstly, in case our viewers are just tuning in, point number 1, this is a terror incident. Last night, we were looking at it and wondering whether indeed it was. But the fact is that the Delhi police have slapped Section 16 and Section 18 of the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act. They've slapped Sections 3 and 4 of the Explosive Substances Act, along with charges of murder and attempt to murder. This is a terrorist act, a very major one. What we were discussing also last night was the eventual owner of that vehicle. This vehicle, a Hyundai i20, a Haryana registration number, exchanged hands many times. Among the people who actually owned the car was somebody called Tariq. Tariq gave it to somebody called Amir. Amir subsequently transferred it to somebody in Pulwama, Dr. Umar Muhammad. And this Umar Muhammad is directly linked, as we understand it, to the Faridabad cell. Now, what is the Faridabad cell? Remember, yesterday there was a home which was busted, in which almost 3 tons of high explosives were recovered, including several hundred kilograms of ammonium nitrate. The people who carried out this attack in that Hyundai i20 were believed to be linked directly to that particular cell, in Faridabad. They came over here to the area behind me at about 3:15 in the afternoon. They were seen in a parking lot. Then very slowly that Hyundai i20 is seen moving away from that particular area. It comes out, and then just where I am right now, behind those white curtains which the investigators have put up in the last little while, is where all of the vehicles which have been mangled as a result of the explosion in the i20 are located. So that's the key point over here, that linkage to that Faridabad module. And as I can explain, in a little while from now, that Faridabad module is key to all of this. Shiv and Padmaja, what I'd like to do is bring in Anushka as well. She's with me. She spent 14 hours in Faridabad yesterday trying to get more details of this. In simple terms, what is the Faridabad module?
Well, Vishnu, what we have reasons to believe is that in the Faridabad module, they were planning a very big terror attack that was in fact, in a very larger attempt to conspire to, bring this major attack. What the security teams have reasons to believe is that this could have been anywhere in Delhi. And now that we are seeing that it has almost been 12 hours since the blast happened here in Delhi, which has claimed the lives of as many as 9 people. Now in the Faridabad module, the Delhi, the Haryana police, the Jammu and Kashmir police, they have arrested Muzammil Shakil, who is said to have links with Umar, Muhammad, who was driving the car, is what the security agencies are right now saying. They will have to conduct a DNA test first as to, in fact, point a finger as to whose body was found inside the car when the blast took place. Now, this is the place where the blast had happened, and also this car was moving towards central Delhi as far as, Sunehri Masjid, and then it came to the parking lot here in, the Lal Gila area.
That's how close to here?
That's almost 600 meters from here, we have reasons to believe. And then the attack.
And there's CCTV footage of the car at that parking lot moving over here. So it came down this area, right? And it turned and it went in over here, right?
Yes, absolutely, because we are seeing that the blast happened here, barely 150 feet from here, from where we are standing.
150 meters, yeah.
And we're also, because we saw that the Faridabad module happened, the police have in fact confiscated as much as 2,900 kilograms of explosives from there, 20 timers. Now imagine 20 timers, they would have in fact taken it to place it in 20 different locations. Also, many people were said to, be there with the accomplice when the blast happened. Also, who was in the car? Were there 2 more people who are on the run right now? Is something that the investigating teams are in fact looking at, but we do know by now that this is linked to the Faridabad module. The Delhi police have officially confirmed that this is blast that is linked to terror attack, and now we are seeing that the investigation is now quite wider, and they are in fact involving, this is an umbrella investigation that is happening under many agencies, NIA, NSG, Delhi police, special cell, all of them are now.
Hold that thought for half a sec. Shiv and Padmaja, what I'd like to do, and also bring in Aditya at this particular stage, is just identify, the key members over here. Now, we spoke about this Omar Muhammad. He is somebody from Pulwama. He was the owner of this particular vehicle. He has been associated with this Faridabad module. But let's talk a little bit about the others. There is a Dr. Ahmed Mohiuddin Syed, not from Faridabad, but somebody who was arrested near Gandhinagar. These arrests, in fact, took place a couple of days back. This is a person who was believed to be creating a bioweapon. He was involved in the production of ricin. 3 handguns were located from his location. There was castor oil, several kilograms of which was recovered. Castor oil apparently is involved in the creation of ricin. Ricin can be used as far as, poisonous gas, this person is concerned. There's a Dr. Mujammil Shakil as well. We discussed him at that Faridabad home where almost 3 tons of explosives were found. There's an Adil Ahmed Rathar who was picked up from Saharanpur for putting up Jaish-e-Mohammed posters. There's a Dr. Shaheen Shahid who apparently allowed one of these people to put explosives and guns and weapons in her vehicle. And there's an Adil Rathar, an Anantnag doctor in whose locker in Anantnag at the Government Medical College, an automatic rifle was found. So that is the cast of those involved in this broader terror attempt on our country, which tragically resulted in the death of so many just behind me after 6:50 last night.
In fact, Vishnu, there's more news just coming in, and sources are telling us that this is in this suspected terror attack where the explosion took place outside Red Fort. Explosives were planted in the car and detonated. And the big piece of breaking news is that agencies suspect it could be a suicide attack, and this Dr. Umar Mohammed, so yet another doctor's name is emerging in this entire puzzle. Dr. Umar Mohammed, who eventually got ownership of the I-20 car. Remember, it was passed down from one person to the other. A picture that we showed you first of a man who took ownership of this I-20. He was traced to Pulwama, and then eventually it changed hands till it reached Dr. Umar Mohammed. And now, Aditya, sources suggesting that it was Dr. Umar Mohammed who could have been in the car at the time of the explosion, and that this could have been a suicide attack as well.
Well, that's right, Padmaja and Shiv. Even as we continuously report here on NDTV on each and every aspect of this bombing that has happened outside the Red Fort, the historic Red Fort in Delhi, there are new details that are emerging. One person who is key to the investigation of the Red Fort bomb blast is Umar Mohammed. Now, Umar Mohammed is also a doctor from south of Kashmir. He was a close associate of Muzammil and Adil, who have been picked up and arrested earlier from Saharanpur in UP and also from Faridabad in Haryana. In fact, last night at around 1:30 a.m., I spoke to several officers of the India's intelligence as well as the Jammu and Kashmir police who have been interrogating Tariq. Now, Tariq is also a very close element to this entire puzzle because this car that is being spoken about, which was owned by somebody called Salman, was handed over to a person called
What
Amir.
is this picture that we are showing them? Just for context, before you elaborate on it, this man that you see, leaning out just so slightly out of the driver's window, is this Dr. Umar Mohammed. Remember, this car with a Haryana registration plate, HR26, was parked for almost 3 hours in a parking lot close to Red Fort. Various surveillance cameras have captured images of this car then leaving the parking area around 6 p.m. and then 6:52 is when that blast took place. But this person who is seen in the driver's seat, just a faint glimpse of his face being seen over there, is this man Dr. Umar Mohammed. Now a DNA verification will be done for the same. Yes, carry on, Aditya.
Well, yes, Umar Mohammed, as I said, is the key to this entire element. This was my exclusive breaking here on NDTV last night at 1:30 a.m. when I spoke to senior officers of the J&K police and India's intelligence apparatus, when everybody in the country was speaking about this apparently being a CNG blast, etc. It was senior sources within the India's intelligence and J&K police confirming to NDTV that they have picked up a person called Tariq from Pulwama in South Kashmir. He had sent in Amir to receive this particular car from Salman, and then it was handed over from Amir to Tariq, and Tariq eventually gave this car to Umar Mohammed. Now, who is Umar Mohammed? Umar Mohammed is also the third doctor in this entire Faridabad terror conspiracy case. The first two being Muzammil and Adil, who were picked up from Saharanpur in UP and later from Faridabad in Haryana as well. Remember, yesterday while I was reporting from Faridabad in Haryana, 2,900 kgs of explosive material, including ammonium nitrate, were also recovered from that area. Now, this entire puzzle is of a Jaish-e-Mohammed, operational cell leading from Kashmir to UP to Haryana and eventually New Delhi. Now, remember, Padmaja and Shiv, if 2,900 kgs of explosives was not recovered, what potentially that could have led to in India's national capital. Now, agencies are also confirming to NDTV, it does seem that this was not a planned attack but a panic attack that really happened, because once Umar Mohammed came to know that his accomplices, his associates, Muzammil and Adil, have been arrested already, and there are several other arrests that have taken place, Umar Mohammed panicked and eventually led to this blast that has taken place yesterday in Red Fort area. I've also been told that J&K police had initial leads in this case 26 days ago, which they shared with other agencies as well, and they were tracking and chasing three key elements, Umar Mohammed, of course, and also Muzammil and Adil in this particular case, but there could be many more in this Jaish-e-Mohammed operational cell that could be leading havoc all across the country, and that's why all sensitive information is being kept very tight-lipped with the agencies here, even as the investigations continue, and this case is being investigated as a terror case now.
So a suicide attack seems to be pretty clearly what has happened yesterday. There was information yesterday, Aditya, that we were reporting that apart from the person that you've now confirmed is very likely to be Dr. Umar Mohammed of Pulwama in South Kashmir, there may have been other passengers in the car as well. I want to go through all of the details you've put out one by one because this is explosive. It takes the story forward in a very, very big way. Now, in the picture that we have on our screen, and I want to zoom in on that picture, the one where you can see what is believed to be Dr. Umar Mohammed circled there. There is no one in the passenger seat. It is not clear if there are any people sitting in the back. Now, obviously, this is not conclusive because people may have gotten into the car between the time this picture was taken and the blast. So this is not forensic in that sense. But Aditya, any light you can throw on how many people were there in the car? What are the intelligence sources telling you? Or was Dr. Umar Mohammed likely alone?
It's likely as of now that Umar Mohammed was alone, but he did have 2 to 3 accomplices. Now these accomplices might have fled, might be evading arrest, might be in hiding right now. That is a matter of investigation. What we do know is that Tariq and Amir were the key to give him that particular car, and both Tariq and Amir are in Kashmir. While Tariq has been arrested, has been detained by the Jammu and Kashmir police, he was interrogated last night in Pulwama overnight and then taken to Srinagar early morning in the cargo where the joint interrogation will take place from Jammu and Kashmir police and the intelligence. Amir is one key element. That photograph that came out with the car, Salman handing over that car to Amir, that clearly says that Amir is still on the run, perhaps in the Kashmir Valley. There are different teams that are being set up to, navigate both New Delhi and Jammu and Kashmir and trace where Amir really is. But as of now, the information from the CCTV and from other details shared clearly indicate that in the car, Umar Mohammed seems to be alone. He panicked when this entire thing happened, and the agencies are probing whether ammonium nitrate was used in this blast as well, because there were no shrapnel injuries, etc. And that clearly points to the use of ammonium nitrate to this blast.
Incredible.
Maybe 50 to 100 kgs of ammonium nitrate or maybe more was used in this attack.
Last evening, it was very difficult to pronounce any direct linkage between what we now know to be a Jaish-e-Mohammed module in Faridabad, about 30 kilometers from where we are bringing you this broadcast, and the Lal Killa blast that took place. Now there appears to be an emerging direct link, not only in terms of the materials used, and Aditya was both in Faridabad yesterday and at the Red Fort blast site, but also the people involved as well. Vishnu continues to be with us. Reet Sahni is with us from the LNJP hospital where the injured are still being taken care of, and we'll go to her in just a moment. But Vishnu, this is a multi-city investigation. While the rest of the country is on high alert at this point of time, it is clearly a multi-agency, multi-location investigation that's on right now. And it's very likely that this moves beyond just Dr. Umar Mohammed, Dr. Adil, Dr. Tariq, etc.
And this, by the way, is the 4th doctor with Dr. Umar Mohammed. This is the 4th Dr. Vishnu who is a part of this entire investigation, who supposedly could be linked to this module.
This has been called a white-collar terror ecosystem. It's a phrase which I picked up in being reported, and I think that is entirely correct. But I think the point that Aditya mentions is important, where he says that what people really need to find out, investigators, is whether this Dr. Umar Mohammed was driving this car alone or whether there were others in that vehicle. Is there a possibility that others exited that vehicle at a particular point of time, or perhaps there are other accomplices still out there? To me, it seems quite possible that he may have been alone in that car and triggered the blast at a particular time. In the case of Fidai blasts, these are often done by one individual at one particular time at a location of their choosing. So I think what investigators will be focusing right now, and I think the big point is that they've got many of these people under arrest at this stage, whether it's Adil Rathar or Dr. Shaheen Shahid or Dr. Mujamil Shakil or Dr. Ahmed Mohiuddin Syed. Many of these people are already in their custody and has been for a long time, that they will be able to unearth just how big.
For a moment, we've got the first video.
The number of people.
We've got the first video of the suspected suicide bomber. We've got that on our screen right now. First here on NDTV, a man that is tentatively being identified as Dr. Umar Mohammed is in this video. First on NDTV, Padmaja, we just had a still image that we showed our viewers so far. He appears to be wearing a mask, a COVID mask, not surprising in the circumstances. But this is the first moving footage at some kind of a red light, very congested. You can see a bus, you can see barricades very much in the vicinity of the Lal Killa. It's not clear how long before the blast this was, but these are the first moving pictures that we have right now.
Or this could be the exit of the parking where it was parked. If you see some kind of toll, are they paying some kind of parking fee exiting from there?
Is that a toll gate? Okay, possibly.
Could be. Or that exit point where you actually pay the fees for standing in the parking, but the traffic has stopped there, so a number of vehicles can be seen, one behind the other, lined up. But remember, over the last 12 hours now, every single camera in the area, because this car had been moving for quite a bit, 3 hours approximately, it stayed stationary, and then 6:52 it was brought to the Red Fort area. For 3 hours it was parked. Was that the time when they were trying to determine their next course of action? But reports suggest that it was moving around in central Delhi. Then it was driven to the Red Fort area. It was kept in a parking for 3 hours close to Red Fort, and 6:52 it was taken to that gate number 1, close to gate number 1 near the Chandni Chowk metro station as well as Red Fort. But the big exclusive right now on NDTV is the first video that you see of this man believed to be Dr. Umar Mohammed. Vishnu.
Just behind me, there are certain investigators, there are forensics experts who've been picking up some debris, and this is happening right now. It's happening right in front of me. This gentleman over here was actually picking up some things from the area, and they're just trying to detect.
क्या ये फिदाइन हमला है? क्या ये फिदाइन हमला है?
कौन सी पार्किंग में ये गाड़ी खड़ी हुई थी? उस पार्किंग से भी आपने जानकारी?
मैं एक चीज आपको सबको बता देता हूँ. इन्वेस्टिगेशन इज गोइंग ऑन. वी कैन नॉट शेयर ईच एंड एवरी डिटेल. एक बार इन्वेस्टिगेशन होगी, जैसे ही आगे कुछ भी कंक्लूसिव होता है, देन ओनली.
क्या ये फिदाइन हमला है? क्या ये फिदाइन हमला है?
मैंने क्या बोला आपको? यही बोला.
तो देखिए, ये डीसीपी नॉर्थ हैं, राजा बाटिया, ये डीसीपी नॉर्थ हैं जो बता रहे हैं कि अभी जांच जारी है. यूएपीए के तहत मुकदमा दर्ज हो गया है, यानी कि ये टेरर का मामला है जिसको लेकर दिल्ली पुलिस ने केस दर्ज कर लिया है.
Okay, so UAPA, sections of the UAPA have been now invoked in the FIR, so it's absolutely clear that this is now an ongoing terror investigation. Let's dwell on this picture for a bit as well, Shiv, and if you can come in on that, Vishnu and Aditya, the first video, and at least one thing is quite clear, that there was one person in the driver's seat. Whether there are people in the back seat, not quite clear at this point, but no person in the passenger seat visible so far. This is the car, by the way, where eyewitnesses have said that the rear end of this car is where possibly the explosives had been placed when it stopped at a red light at about 6:52 p.m. close to the Red Fort. A massive explosion went off. The first image that was seen of the actual explosion caught on camera showed you the magnitude of the blast that took place, Aditya. Huge flames leaping into the sky, and it is this car where we see man, possibly Dr. Umar Mohammed, in the driver's seat, most likely acting alone. Nobody's seen, at least in this video so far, to be with him in the passenger seat. Aditya.
Well, that's right, Padmaja. This is a big development coming at this hour. This is an exclusive video with NDTV clearly indicating the moment when Dr. Umar Mohammed actually took that car, the explosive-laden car, and in fact moved from the Red Fort area, from a parking towards one of the main red lights, the Subhash Chowk red light between Gauri Shankar Mandir and the Red Fort in Delhi, just behind me. In fact, from this particular area, he was driving and he was aiming to go towards New Delhi. So it's not clear whether he wanted to make the blast happen here or itself, or take the car from here towards somewhere in central Delhi, because from here central Delhi is barely 3 to 4 kilometers, and he could have taken the car towards ITO, towards the central block where the parliament is and other important installations are, and perhaps the blast could have targeted a different area. But as of now, there's a lot of activity taking place. If my video journalist can pan and show you, there are senior officials now moving in this particular area. a lot of activity taking place in this particular belt. Senior official of Delhi Police is moving. We'll try and see if we can get a small statement, but no, the Delhi Police senior officer is not speaking at this particular moment. But a lot of activities will be seen through the night, through the day today, where NIA, NSG, and of course the J&K police investigate this further. But this car and the glimpse of Dr. Umar Mohammed, who's a key mastermind and conspirator of Jaish-e-Mohammed in this entire terror attack, is very, very crucial evidence, a crucial link to what really happened. What we are being told is that immediately after Adil and Muzammil were arrested, Umar Mohammed panicked completely, and perhaps it was a lone wolf kind of an attack. That's the theory that's being investigated both by the Delhi police and the J&K police. Remember, even as the forensic examiners behind me tried to extract the chemicals, etc., to investigate whether ammonium nitrate was used, on the other hand, in J&K police is quizzing Tariq, the crucial link in this entire case, to find out who all were part of this Jaish-e-Mohammed module and whether there are more arrests likely to happen through the day or tomorrow.
These are very troubling pictures, and I want to advise discretion to our viewers who are tuning in right now, because these are possibly the first pictures of the key suspect in this attack yesterday in Delhi that is almost definitely emerging to be a suicide bombing. There was one person in that I-20, and these are pictures you see on your left just moments before the actual detonation. On the right, those are live images on NDTV's cameras of the morning after the attack. You can see forensic specialists, doctors, investigators, the police, NIA officials, all on the ground there, looking at the blast site, picking up evidence to piece together what Aditya and Vishnu have broken first here on NDTV early this morning. That is confirmed to be a terrorist attack. Yesterday, there was some lack of clarity over which direction this investigation is going. There are no doubts any longer. The debate is settled. This is a terrorist attack. 10/11 is a terrorist attack. Dr. Umar Mohammed is the person who is likely to be in that picture in the car. In fact, Padmaja has put together the entire sequence, and I want to read it out because this is very important to understand. And I want our viewers to bear with me for a moment as I explain to you the sequence of events as far as this car is concerned. It's a little complicated because we're talking about people in different cities, different locations. Multiple arrests have taken place, and Dr. Umar Mohammed is likely dead. We'll put the pictures of those people on your screen in just a moment. But while we wait for that, let me just tell you that Dr. Umar Mohammed is directly linked to the two doctors from J&K who were arrested yesterday. One from Faridabad and the other from Saharanpur. Both from Jammu and Kashmir who were arrested. That is now known to be the Faridabad Jaish-e-Mohammed module. They were linked to the man you see in the driver's seat of this I-20 who then detonated the car. So let me read that out. Padmaja has put this together. This is important. I want to read it out. Padmaja, Amir is the man seen with the key in that picture. Bottom left. He bought it from a man named Salman. We don't have a picture yet of Salman.
But Salman, Shiv, is the person whose RC we showed yesterday. Remember that RC we broke? He still has this HR26 car registered in his name. So Salman is a resident of Gurgaon. Salman was picked up for questioning yesterday by the police. That led them to Amir. Amir is the man you see on your screen with that key and that I-20 in the background. So Amir then bought this car from Salman. It was then handed over to Tariq. Tariq is somebody like Aditya broke yesterday late night. Tariq has been picked up by the police in Kashmir. He was interrogated in a sustained fashion overnight, and that led them to the man who is now believed to be possibly the suicide bomber in the Delhi Red Fort case. The man you see on the bottom right of your screen. He was in the driver's seat of the I-20. He possibly took it to that place close to Red Fort, and Umar Mohammed was given this car by Tariq, who is currently being interrogated. And Umar Mohammed is important because he gives you a direct link, Shiv, to the two men who are now believed to be a part of the Jaish-e-Mohammed Faridabad module, the doctors of death as they are being called, Adil and Muzammil. Adil Ahmed, rather, who was picked up from Uttar Pradesh. He used to work in GMC Anantnag, and Muzammil, who was employed in Al Falah Hospital in Faridabad. It is in the house and associated locations of Muzammil that over 2,900 kilograms of explosives were found. Detonators, timers, weapons, pistols, rifles, all of that was recovered from Muzammil and his aides. So far, in a terror network that spreads across cities now, 5 doctors are already involved. You see 2 of them on your screens, Adil on the top right, Muzammil on the top left. These men are now in custody. The key person now is Umar Mohammed. Was he the suicide bomber in Delhi?
So the man with the key has not been detained yet. His name is Amir. He's the one who bought the car from Salman, who was detained, as Padmaja said just a moment ago. But these are all of the pictures that we have. NDTV is the only network that actually has them and is able to identify them. And Padmaja, the interesting thing about the details you've just put out is it aligns completely with the modus operandi of terror groups that use cars. They identify cars that have multiple ownership, where ownership has shifted frequently. A very cursory look at this car, this i20's history shows that it has even been sold on OLX at one point of time. So this car has shifted ownership multiple times between Delhi and Jammu and Kashmir. And that's one of the reasons why perhaps it might be difficult to actually trace even more details about where this, what the linkages really are. Aditya and Vishnu continue to be with us on the ground. Aditya, it looks like the investigation on the ground has picked up lots of...
All right, if you can just quickly come to me for
Vishnu,
a moment. What I can actually share with you over here is that we've got video. Of an examiner over here. Actually, this gentleman has been diligently going through this entire area for the last 20 minutes, looking for, potential explosives or anything which looks suspicious. This was an area where we were actually reporting from yesterday, where he's been operating from. But along with several others, he's been moving in this area for the last 10 odd minutes, looking in this particular area for certain items. I don't know what exactly it is. The police drew attention to a couple of the bags that you see on the ground over there. He went through those bags quite closely, and he's now moving back to the area. There are a couple of ambulances which have been parked here for the last several hours. So he was looking for something, perhaps clues, perhaps chemicals. They had these small little pouches with them where they put in all of this, whatever it is that they collected. And he's now headed back. But his team is still over there. You can see them actually, picking up a few items, looking around in that area, for whether it's some sort of residue or whatever it is, before they go back to behind the curtains, which have been established overnight. And that's where the investigators are actually carrying on with their investigation. This is an out-and-out terror investigation and absolutely a suicide blast which took place. Padmaja,
Let's cut to Shiv. Let's cut to Shubhang also, who now joins us from that parking lot where this car was kept for at least 3 hours. And those 3 hours could be key. Was there any kind of interaction that was done? All the CCTV footage, I imagine, is now being examined thoroughly to see if anybody came, if the car changed hands while it was standing in the parking lot. Shubhang.
Well, exactly. Let me first of all show you the visuals right now where I'm standing. Well, this is the Red Fort parking area. Now, so we're showing you the visuals of that parking lot that yesterday that I-20 car, which we have seen, had a blast just outside the Red Fort. Showing you the visuals, this is the that parking. This is Red Fort parking for car and bus. In fact, we have also seen that yesterday. In fact, for more than 3 hours, the car was in fact parked over here. The possible route that could have been taken from this was they could have taken right from the next petrol pump, and in fact went towards straight way where the blast in fact took place. Now, what we are also learning is that now the police and in fact Jammu and Kashmir police all have in fact joined the investigation in this particular matter. But now this is being seen as a terror attack. But first of all, what exactly has happened? Because we can see the CCTV footage that one person can clearly be seen showing his hand, in fact, while he was leaving from the parking area. But certainly, the person is still to be identified. Though whatever we are knowing during the investigation, the police sources have been telling us that the main accused in this particular case can be Tariq and Umar Muhammad. In fact, who's also missing, and this part of yesterday's recovery that was found from Faridabad of around 2,900 kg of explosives. Umar Muhammad, he can be part of the same module yesterday, which had been recovered by the Jammu and Kashmir and Haryana police in a joint operation. Though this is the parking lot where yesterday the parking where the car was parked. Though till now it is not clear during the investigation that was it the time that something inside the car was kept. Was it an explosive that was kept inside the car while it was in a parking lot? Or it has happened later? That is something that has to be investigated in this particular matter right now. Back to you.
In fact,